Hello, I'm Catherine Sines, the president of the Rotary Club of Hudson. Rotary is a professional organization of a group of men and women who support Rotary International. We also join together by a common interest of service to our Hudson community, and we have a sincere desire to give back. We meet weekly on Wednesdays at Laurel Lake Retirement Community, 200 Laurel Lake Drive, in their dining room. We meet from 7:30 to 8:30 and would like to invite you to join us. For more information about Rotary, go to www.rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the following excerpts from one of our recent meetings and consider joining us on Wednesday morning.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Good morning. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Phil Tobin.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, Phil.
Beautiful day out there. Heavenly Father, as we awaken this morning, may your Spirit come upon us. May our minds receive your guidance, our souls receive your blessing, and may our hearts receive your love. May all that we meet today, and even those we think of today, feel better for it. May we give peace on earth. May we serve your purposes with all we do and all we say. Please show us how. In your name we ask it. Amen.
Amen. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, our newest member, Richard Nebbiolo.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it true? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, Richard. And to lead us in song, Dick Pearsall.
I thought this would be a good thing today, and especially since you're all standing. So here we're going to go. You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But when old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. We're going to have the second verse next week.
And now our president, Catherine Sines.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning, Catherine.
The next thing on is for Chris Barker to come and introduce our guest for this morning.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Good morning. We have a few people joining us. Now, Sue Carter has been with us quite a bit. She'll be a new member here shortly, but she's still considered a guest. Good to see you again, Sue. And then we have Rick Pollock. He's from the Cleveland Club, and he's also chairman of the District Leadership 6630. So thank you very much for joining us today.
We don't have a whole lot of announcements this morning. I only have one, that today is the newcomers meeting at the Hudson Library, and Joe Vella will be there today at 10 o'clock. If anyone would like to stop and see him or join him, have a cup of coffee with him, that would be great. And if anyone else has any announcements or would like to come up, let me know. And if you didn't see it on my friendly, no? What, Liz? In case you didn't hear her, Liz is sending out cards when people need them for illness or encouragement, or if someone's sick, whatever. If you let her know, she'll send out a card from the group. So just let Liz know, and she will make sure that a card gets out to whoever it needs to go to. She needs your help on that one. So that's the only announcements we have for today, other than next week. Make sure you come, because Phil Herman will be talking about the school. You don't want to miss it. It's great. And I'm biased a little bit there. And so for this morning, Joe Zapatowski. I always say it wrong. Joe Zapatowski.
Josie.
Give her an A.
Joe Z. I like it better, Joe Z. Is going to introduce our speaker. Oh, Doctor? All right, Dr. Z. Did anyone try it?
They didn't try it, no.
He's been a Rotarian for 30 years with the same club, the Rotary Club of Burton Middlefield. He is a Paul Harris Fellow and a Paul Harris Society member. I give you Bob Johnson.
Thank you, Joe. I'll try not to emulate the other antics today. That was quite an introduction. I hope everybody's okay. These wires are always crazy, I know, when they get wrapped around everything. Good morning, everybody. Always good to be here at Hudson with you folks. A wonderful club. I look around and I see about as much white hair as I see at my club, so I think we're on about the same average age level. Joe asked me to come this morning and talk a little bit about the foundation. I thought I would just review some of the things that we are involved in. We are fortunate that Rick Pollock showed up this morning. Rick is very active in several parts of the foundation. He is our foundation compliance coordinator. That's a title we came up with. He didn't think I'd remember that, but I did. And really keeps us on the straight and narrow when it comes to all the activities involved with the foundation. I will start with some of the committees and stuff that we work on. And the first one I want to talk about is the Grants Committee, which is extremely active in this district. As opposed to several others. This is a pretty unusual district in that we are very much involved in giving back as much of the foundation money to clubs and club members through grant projects as we possibly can. Many other districts are nowhere near as involved as we are. We have a very active grants committee. And what I wanted to tell you this morning is we've been involved. Being active is a good thing, and it also creates some problems in that we have lots and lots of projects underway by different clubs in the district. And we, over a couple of years, we had so many projects going that we kind of lost track of a few of them. As you may know, not every project goes smoothly. A lot of times things get delayed. A lot of times they get put on the back burner. The person involved in the project leaves the club or transfers to another one or whatever. But we found that a lot of our projects had not reached the point of being finally completed. So we have concentrated a lot of time and effort this year on making sure that many of these projects that have languished out there for a while are getting finally completed. And Rick, Dave Jones, Todd Kick, who's the Grants Committee Chair, Matt Liebson from Solon Club. All these fellows have worked very diligently and put in a lot of time to make sure that these projects get finalized and that we can move on to new projects. And that's what we're basically doing. I did want to mention, and I know I've been here before, and I've also mentioned it to you, and I also know my friend Ken Fogel, who is the chair of Gift of Life Northeast Ohio, has been here and spoken to you, I believe, at least once. And I had a video that I wanted to put on. Ken may have showed you this. I don't know. I wasn't here when he came. So if you want to start that, if you've seen it and you're bored out of your minds, just raise your hand or something and we can move on to something else. But can we fire that up? Okay.
This is about our VTT project in Haiti, establishment of a pediatric hard care unit at St. Damian's Hospital.
Well, I was asked directly, what is the point of investing in curing a child who then goes back to the same miserable environment that spews out that same illness over and over again? But when is it right, when there's a sick child standing right in front of you, not to help that child? No matter what happens next, when is it right? In the United States, there's one doctor for 500 people, and in Haiti, there's an average of one doctor for 15,000 people. 13,000 of them are in a lot of trouble. They're malnourished, they're drinking terrible water, they have all kinds of gastrointestinal diseases, they're subject to constant bouts of malaria and tuberculosis and now cholera. There's no state agency that's going to help them, there's no welfare that's going to help them. It's just you and them and the bad news.
This orphanage developed throughout the years to become the only children's hospital where we are right now. And now we have a team of over 20 pediatricians and 8 obstetricians.
We built this place with our bare hands. When we moved in here, we started.
Jeff Kemp gave me a call out of the blue in 2010, I believe it was, and he had asked me about Gift of Life Northeast Ohio and told me of his involvement in Haiti and asked if we could help him. Once we had spoken, I had said to Jeff the first thing I wanted to do was make sure his hospital was fully supportive of us sponsoring children in for heart surgery. We came upon the idea of using a Rotary program called Vocational Training Team, VTT. Bob Johnson, as district governor, wanted the opportunity to do the first vocational training team in our Northeast Ohio region, and he called me and said, is there any way we can partner with Gift of Life and do a vocational training team? And I was
the local doctors, the Haitian doctors, to care for their own people. It gives you pride.
I think it's a perfect way to develop better Rotary relationships around the world and have a greater impact on other people's lives.
Jeff Kemp and I have built a nice relationship over the couple of years because we both have committed ourselves to make sure over the next decade we can change healthcare in Haiti. And one of the delightful comments that Jeff made that I loved hearing was, he said, wouldn't it be great if we get to the point where Rotary International is so sick of hearing from all the Rotary clubs around the country about wanting to do something for Haiti, if we get one Rotary club and then the next Rotary club and then our district and then another district and then districts around the country working on this problem in Haiti, we can change the quality of life there, we can change the quality of health care, and we can do that to the point where Rotary International doesn't want to fund Haiti anymore because they don't need it. It's extraordinary what you can do by giving equipment and support to the skills that are already in country. And if you want to have impact, dollars to this program have extraordinary impact.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, that project was pretty successful. That was made shortly after our first vocational training team work down there. We're now finishing up on the second one. That project was $67,000. That was the level of grant that we got to work on that. The latest one was $105,000. And we've reached the point where we are now touching about 200 children's lives every year through this program just in Haiti right there. There are other ones around the world. I just wanted to show you that the success of these partnerships that we can form to work with other groups around the world that have the expertise and the resources to do that. Gift of Life has been a wonderful group of people to work with. I wanted to mention polio to you folks too. We are not done with polio. There are very few new cases this year. I believe we are at 5 or 7, 6 right now. Now that number sounds small. We are still raising hundreds of thousands of dollars. Bill Gates and his foundation have pledged more millions to help this. We are not done. This project doesn't end when these 6 children, the latest 6, are immunized or anything. There's an ongoing process that needs to take place to monitor this program for the next 3 or 4 years to actually declare that it has been a success. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you wonder if there's only 6 cases while we're still giving millions of dollars, that's the reason. It's a pretty extensive process that needs to be done, involves thousands and thousands of people, but it will be completed someday. I hope in the next 5 or 6 years that someone can stand up here in front of the club and say that we conquered polio in the world. We are very, very close. That's a great thing. Major gifts. We had a program last year. We celebrated the centennial of the foundation with a very nice program down with the Cleveland Orchestra and a nice dinner. We had pledged bequests or donations to the foundation of $2.4 million in honor of that centennial event. That was a huge sum of money for the district and everything, but I was very proud that we stepped up on that. Stewardship, we do, as I mentioned at the beginning, we do continue to monitor our projects and make sure that they're on track, make sure that all the paperwork is up to date, and we do get these to a final point in their life. There's other programs, annual giving. I know this club, Joe has told me, is involved in EREY, every Rotarian every year. That's a great program, I feel. It generates quite a bit of money. A club can become an EREY club by giving $100 per capita for every member, and also every member giving something. Those are the 2 criteria you need to meet to be an official EREY club. I believe Hudson has achieved that for last year. I'm not sure if they have or not. No, didn't do it. We need to work harder. I believe there were 12 or 13 clubs that succeeded in doing that. Is that correct, Rick? I think there were 17. Very good. Very good. It's a great honor. I know I push my club real hard to make sure that we do that every year, and I'm very happy to do it. That money, obviously, as you know, comes back to us after 3 years. Not all of it, but part of it, the SHARE program, as district designated funds, and those are the funds we use to do our local grant projects and our global grant projects. Paul Harris Society, I would strongly encourage anyone in this club who is financially able to step up and join that group. You get this pin plus this little chevron here. The criteria is that you give $1,000 every year to the foundation, as long as you are able. It's not mandatory. They don't come after you and knock on your door or anything, but they require that you give $1,000 per year, and you can be a member of the Paul Harris Society. I have found that it's the easiest way to give. Is that I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. I have found that the easiest way to do that is through a program called Rotary Direct. You can sign up very easily, a simple form. I think you can do it online. You can probably do it over the phone. And send it to RI, and they will automatically put $85 a month on a credit card number that you give them. I've signed up for this 3 or 4 years ago, and really I don't miss it. I never think about it. It just automatically happens. I know my wife and I share the same credit card, and Many times there were expenses on there that were around $85, and I learned that I shouldn't ask what those are sometimes. But my $85 donation is on there every month, and I can change it with a simple phone call or an email to RI. They're happy to lower it or raise it or eliminate it or whatever you want to do. But it's very, very easy, and I would certainly encourage you to look into that and enter into that program. Rotary Direct.
I can send that form to the club.
Yeah. It's very simple, and it's absolutely trouble-free. I never worry about my EREY donation or anything else. It just automatically happens. And I think it's by far the easiest thing to do. Right now, any questions on the foundation that I could answer for anybody or any of these programs that I mentioned, the grants or major gifts, polio, anything? Yeah.
Yeah, Bob, could you address the quality of the or the amount of money that goes actually to charities on the foundation? I think it's Charity Calculator. The foundation
yes,
is rated very highly.
We are, I believe, 5 is the high, 4 or 5 is the highest rating you can get on Charity Navigator, I think is the name.
Yes.
And Rotary is always up at the top. As far as being, you know, the smallest level of operation money that's needed, and the most money that's actually given back out. When both Bill Gates and Warren Buffett wanted to establish their foundations with billions of dollars, they looked around at all the different foundation models around the world, and they both settled on the Rotary Foundation as the model that they wanted to use for their foundations because of the success and the low cost of maintenance and everything else. We're definitely right at the top on that, no doubt about it. Anything else? No, guys?
Tell us how this club acquires points that it can then distribute to members to become Paul Harris Fellows.
Right, as you give and achieve a Paul Harris Fellow, you get up to $1,000. When you give $1,000, you get you're eligible to give a Paul Harris Fellowship. You can either keep it yourself, you can give it away. It doesn't even have to be to a Rotary member. It can be somebody in the community that you want to recognize and honor with the award. But clubs accumulate points and individuals accumulate points. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now to tell you where Hudson is, but
it's not very high. But how does the club accumulate points?
Well, the club can also give funds also to the foundation. Rick is the guy who takes care of the share program and all the funds that come back and stuff, so maybe he could address this a little better.
Yeah, Bob
Oh, you will?
Would you use the mic?
Oh, there we go.
Bob mentioned that members, when they give money to the Rotary Foundation, they get Paul Harris points that they can collect. And when you reach 1,000, you can give a Paul Harris Fellow to someone. Clubs can also get points by giving money to the foundation from the club, not from the individual, from the club. And so if you make a contribution as a club to the annual fund, you will collect points. If you make a contribution to a global grant, you will get points. So that's how the club collects their monies, their points, I mean.
Yeah. A lot of clubs do a fundraiser every year and give a portion or all of it to the foundation as their club donation. That's how they would accumulate points that way. Okay. All right. Now I have the distinct honor. If I could have Joe Tapatowski come up and Catherine, can you watch the wires there, guys. And also Philip Tobin. Could Phil come up, please?
I'm not as old as Joe, but I'm getting there.
Here, come on over here. Watch. We're in this side, Phil.
Watch that wire.
Yep. Okay, we're going to recognize Phil for a Paul Harris fellowship, +1 level. As you know, as you continue to give to the foundation, you become a Paul Harris. You can become a Paul Harris Fellow, and then there are a series of steps or levels of $1,000 each, up into 9, and then when you achieve 10, you become a major donor to the foundation, which is a distinct honor also. So today, Paul Harris Fellow recognition is named for Paul Harris, who founded Rotary with 3 business associates in Chicago in 1905. The Paul Harris Fellow presentation was established in his honor in 1957 to express appreciation for the contribution of U.S. $1,000 to the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation. Those programs include an array of projects that save and invigorate the lives of people around the world and finance international friendships and understandings. Foundation programs provide educational opportunities, food, potable water, health care, immunization, and shelter for millions of persons. These activities are funded, implemented, and managed by Rotarians and Rotary clubs around the globe. We move closer to a more peaceful world today as Phil Tobin becomes a Paul Harris Fellow +1. Congratulations, Phil. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Past District Governor Johnson. Thank you so much. I just want to make a couple of remarks. Since past 14 months, we have done great as a club. There are 9 new Paul Harris Fellows, or Paul Harris Fellows +2, or +1, who have joined the ranks of other Paul Harris Fellows here in our club. There are 20 Paul Harris Fellows in the club, in the Rotary Club of Hudson here. Now, let me name them, please, because I think that's a great achievement, really, for these people to have reached that level. Dan Rich is a Paul Harris Fellow +2. James Hackney, who is not here, is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. Craig Tallman, who is a part-time member now, is a Paul Harris Fellow, the new. And Catherine, who did a spectacular job performing today, is also a new Paul Harris Fellow. Stu Murray is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. William Wooldridge is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. Tom Tobin is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. Ron Strobel is a Paul Harris Fellow +1. And joining the group today, Phil Tobin, Paul Harris Fellow +1. Congratulations, keep up the good work, and that's a goal for the rest of us to achieve. Keep giving to the foundation. Thank you so much.
One thing, Joe, maybe you could mention to the club members, we do an unusual thing here. We will help a person who wants to become a member of the Paul Harris. If I understand it correctly, which I think Tom and I went through that, we contributed $500, and then the club contributed $500. It was a one-for-one match, which is an enormous opportunity. And I think the club is still doing that. Is that right, Joe?
That's correct, as long as the points last.
Yes, yes. That's wonderful.
And what we can do, we can use points that we have to give to other members who approach either, well, Paul Harris Fellow +1 or 2. And I've been doing that from my points because I had quite a few of them. When members get to about $1,600 or points, I contribute $400 of mine, and they become Paul Harris Fellows +1. And I'll do that as long as my points last. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I did it the same as you were talking, where I donated 500 and then the club matched the 500, and I felt very honored in doing that. Thank you, Past President Johnson. Wrapping up the meeting, unless someone else had any other announcements or anything they want to share. We're kind of early today. I'm surprised. I want to thank the greeters, Larry Stanton and Joe Avila, audio visual setup crew, Dan Rich, Tom Page, Tom Tobin, James Field, and Maddie. Thank you. Are you with us again next month, or is this your last meeting?
I'm not sure when I'm coming back.
Okay.
I probably will.
Oh, good, thanks. We'll look forward to it. And for today's Rotobuck, the payout is $10.25, and the jackpot is $374. I'm really watching the cords now. And the number, the last 4 digits is 0445. 0445. Good. 0445. Who left? We're going to do it again?
Do it again. Be alive It's better on TV this year. Did he win? Trying to get it.
0438.
Well, thank you, Vice
I'll meet you for lunch. That's not even going to pay for both.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Oh. Be sure to invest that.
Remember to count your blessings. When I count mine, you are one of them. Thank you for being here today, and have a great week.
Thank you.